Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tania. For those of you who have been wondering, and thank you, some of you have been sending me messages on Instagram. I appreciate your concern. Some of you have been asking, where are you? What's going on? Well, I've just been caught up with work. You may know that I'm an English teacher, senior English teacher, and here in Australia, our schooling goes by the calendar year. So we are coming to the end now of the school year, and the year 12s or the senior students are having their final exams or their finals. And so I teach English, and our exam was last week on the Wednesday. So there was a lot of time spent finalizing last minute assessments with the students, helping them draft after draft after draft. I was swimming in drafts at one stage. Anyway, it was just a very intense period of time. But all of that aside, today's video is an interesting idea. And this came to me a little while ago. What are your thoughts on this? There are some things that we luxury YouTubers do, and I'm not going to limit it just to luxury YouTubers because there are many of us who are luxury lovers. And what is it that we do that is interesting? What are some of the quirks that we luxury lovers tend to do? So I'm going to go through a list of approximately 10 or so things we do, and let me know what you think. Number one, holding on to packaging. I find that interesting, and I get it because we pay a lot for these particular items. But even for the smaller luxury pieces, and I mean things like makeup and perfumes and candle boxes or something, I find that I tend to keep the packaging. The example in question, and the first one I'll share with you is, and it's flattened because I kept it flattened on purpose, is a Chanel lipstick paper packaging. Why? Well, at the time, because this was limited edition, paid a bomb for this lipstick, and I just thought, I'll just keep it because, well, it's Chanel. But why? It's just cardboard. Recently, I bought myself a new perfume, the Balenciaga. Very nice, by the way. Why do I need to keep this box? Well, because it's very stylish looking and all that sort of thing, but it's a box. It's packaging. Why am I keeping it? Lipstick packaging. Why am I keeping it? Because it's luxury. These are luxury items. They're from the luxury design houses. We tend to want to keep them, but it's paper. It's cardboard. It's got to go. It's probably not going to go. Another example. This is keeping it real. Remember my hashtag? Hashtag keep it real. This is keeping it real, right? I even keep, look, and I don't even know where to put them. I even keep all the little cardboard boxes of the perfumes. Part of me thinks, oh, next time I go into Louis Vuitton, I should bring them back. Louis Vuitton's taking enough money from me. Am I doing it for Louis? No. Am I doing it for the environment? Yes. But anyway, here you go. Lots. I've even got the Tom Ford ones because, like, it's Tom Ford. I don't know. What do you do with all that extra packaging? I know a lot of people like to keep the big bags, you know, they frame them, or not the very big ones, but those medium-sized ones, small to medium, they like to frame those. People have them on display on shelving or in a corner of the room. Number two, we like to save or keep things for a better time. So that, I suppose, means things like not using this little bag here, for example, because that's one of my more expensive bags, every day. Why? Because I paid so much for it, and because I don't want it to become damaged in any way by using it often. But then your cost per wear doesn't work out that way. You know, we sort of tend to save these expensive things for good times or for special occasions. I'm really working away from that. I'm really trying to work and move away from that mentality. I had that mentality growing up. That's the way my grandparents operated, and of course, having lived through the war, anything that they then acquired after the war was something to hold on to and cherish and look after and keep the plastic on, all that sort of thing, right? My parents had that to some extent. My mum still does that to some extent. I do too, but I'm really trying to move away from that. So this idea that because something was expensive, it's therefore better, that segues into the next one, and therefore we need to keep it for special occasions. No, life's too short. Buy the bag or the shoes and use them. I'm still working on that. Point number three, justifying to ourselves that the quality is better. So justifying the cost that why these bags cost $3,500, $4,000, $5,000 each. Oh, because the quality must be better. Well, sometimes yes, and clearly we have seen through numerous people's videos, sometimes no. And in most cases, for some design houses, it's becoming more so no, it's not necessarily better. And sometimes the smaller, more humble, quietly spoken design houses tend to have better quality. So we justify these things to ourselves so that we can buy it. So does the price always indicate better quality? Sometimes yes and sometimes no. Is that something that you say to yourself? Is that what you say in order to spur yourself on to buy that particular piece? I don't know. Let me know. Fourth point, do you do this? Do you keep raising the bar in terms of your spend limit? The first time I ever spent a lot of money on a bag, I said to myself, never doing that again. No way. That was a lot of money to spend on a bag. But why is it, apologies for the clap, why is it that the more we become involved in this particular luxury community, the more we become desensitized to certain prices, the more we start to think, oh gee, well, you know, $4,500, $5,000, that's not expensive for a Chanel, or that's not expensive for a insert, you know, brand of choice here. Why is it that the more we become acclimatized to these items and the prices, because we look at them all the time, why is it that we're actually raising in our minds the limit that we will approach, the limit that we won't get to? I remember many years ago listening to certain YouTubers who said no, that they would never break that $2,000 threshold for canvas. Well, that went out the window after a period of time. You know, why is it that we do that? And is this something that you as a luxury lover do? Or is it just something that we luxury YouTubers do? I try not to. But I know that if I'm going to start looking at a particular design house, such as Chanel, I am going to need to increase my limit. You know, what my limit used to be is not going to cut it now for a design house like Chanel. I'm not even in the Hermes ballpark. Let's just not go there. Unless we're talking a small leather good or something like that. But we do that because we become desensitized and acclimatized to the prices. And so we know, along with all the price increases that happen sometimes more than once a year, we just have to swallow it and just accept that if we want one of their bags and if we want it new, then that's what we need to pay. Next point, do you find yourself being more careful? So if you are using one of your bags, a very expensive bag, are you more careful with that particular one than with one of the less expensive bags? I've heard many people here on YouTube say, oh, you know, well, this is my cheaper one or my less expensive bag. This is my throw around bag. I mean, I've said it myself too. But why is it that we do that? Well, because obviously we've spent a lot more on that particular item and we want it to last longer. And also I think to myself, well, I may sell this one day, so I want it to retain its good condition or its excellent condition. So that's something that I find I tend to do. I tend to scale how I use my items. I'm careful with everything, but I'm not pedantic or too meticulous with everything. So the way I treat my cheaper or less expensive items tends to be the same as the way I treat my expensive ones, which is always the way I treat my expensive ones, if that makes sense. So the cheaper items tend to get looked after very much, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. How many times can I say, does that make sense? I think I said that 4 times already. Moving on, the next one. Why is it that when we unbox an item or we reveal one or we are reviewing it or something like that, we take it and we look at it and we caress it and we fondle it, no negative connotation there, and we cradle it and we give it names? Why? In the end, this is a bag. It's just a bag. Said no luxury lover ever. But it's just a bag. Why is it that we treat it so carefully? And we smell it, and we just like, over it. Why do we do that? Why do we tend to idolize these things? Why? Why are we doing that? I don't know. I can only speak for myself because I love it. And I know I paid a lot of money for it. So I like to do this. Other people probably look at me and think, you're crazy. But we do it. Okay, an earlier point that I raised was that about packaging and having packaging on display. Well, What are we doing here? A lot of us here on YouTube tend to have a lot of our items, pieces, bags, SLGs on display, sometimes around us, sometimes behind us. Not everybody does that. Are you a luxury lover who likes to have a beautiful shelf with your items showing proudly and openly? I like it. I like coming into my room. I like sometimes sitting on my bed, which is just over there, and having a cuppa, leaning up against my bed head and just looking at these things and just admiring them and just thinking, damn, I worked hard for these things. These did not come to me easily. So that's something that we do. We tend to have them on display, or we tend to fiddle with them, or we tend to take lots of photos of them, and we tend to put them on the gram, and we tend to all those type of things. Why is it that we do that? Well, is it showing off? I don't know. Or is it just being proud of what we have? Let me know what you think of this point. I imagine someone who just loves what they own, whatever it happens to be, would want to have it on display. And if someone owns a lot of less expensive SLGs and bags, they would have them on display too, I imagine. It's because it's something we love, and so that's what we do. Now, in regards to looking after our items, do you find yourself fiddling with them more? By that I mean when you sit in the car, do you position the bag a certain way so it doesn't go flying if you slam the brakes? Or when you go out to a restaurant or something, to position it in a certain way so that it's not knocked off the table easily? Is it on the chair beside you or behind you? Is it on the floor? Do you ever put your luxury items on the floor? Do you ask for an extra chair so that you can sit your little bag or whatever on the spare chair at your table? Do you cover your bag with your jacket in case something gets spilled on it? You know, like these are little extra miles that we take to look after our items. Do you find yourself doing any of that? How fiddly are you with your luxury items? Okay, this one I've deliberately left till last. This is one that we do, and you don't have to be a luxury YouTuber to do this, but this is something that we, assuming I'm not on YouTube, have gotten the idea to do from watching luxury YouTubers. So that means taking things like toiletry pouches, say the Louis Vuitton toiletry case, the 26 size, adding an insert in there with the grommet so then you can add a chain. Do you find yourself doing that? Do you find yourself converting them in some way in order to get most use out of them? For example, currently the trend is for those little itty bitty micro bags. I saw a beautiful Fendi one, that little canvas one, some time ago when I was in the city with my friend, and I tried it on and it was beautiful, but I didn't want to pay $1,000 for essentially what was the size of a card holder. But I like that look. It's sort of cute, I must admit. A friend of mine just recently, well, a little while ago, bought one from Burberry. Looks gorgeous. So I got to thinking, maybe I can turn one of my wallets into one of those little micro bags. So, spoiler alert, I took my little Saint Laurent compact wallet, it's one of these, and I just filtered a chain through it like this, and the chain I'm using is from my Louis Vuitton double pochette. And although this is not really long enough for me to be crossbody now, because thanks menopause and weight gain, I can now, if I wanted to put it on, if I wanted to, I could now use it as a little crossbody if I was going out. I mean, this is too short, but if I wanted to, I could. So if I was going out somewhere and I just wanted something small and it doesn't carry much, but maybe just a couple of cards and maybe fit my little calf fob in here and maybe a small lip balm, I could do that. And let's face it, in the end, I'd be carrying or holding my phone most of the time because there's Buckley's chance of getting a phone in here, or even those $1,000 ones that you can buy. So that's something that we tend to do. We take something and we rework it. Another example, you have Kirigami pouch here like this, and I've just added the chain underneath. It's not ideal because if you open it up, it's going to fall off. You've got to be careful, all that sort of thing. But it is something that we've done, that people do. And is that something that a luxury lover does simply because they're trying to maximize the use? Probably. Luxury YouTubers do it. There are inserts that you can buy, people that support and promote various companies and so on. So guys, these are some of the ideas that I came up with that are very intrinsic to luxury lovers and luxury YouTubers and what we do. Let me know what you think. I do look forward to reading your comments. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would love you to do so. So take care everybody. God bless, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.